every heart is heard. May we treat one another not with fear, but with fairness, not with judgment, but with understanding. Let our teachers guide us with wisdom, and let us meet their guidance with curiosity and respect. Help us seek truth with open minds, walk through challenge with quiet strength, and stand for what is right, even when it is not easy. Let us be quick to celebrate each other's joys and slow to resentment when we stumble. May we learn to forgive ourselves and others and to grow from every mistake we make. We give thanks for the chance to learn in this school, to ask big questions, explore new ideas, and become the people the world will one day need. Let this school be not only a place of study, but a community of care where we live more generous, more thoughtful, and more ourselves than when we first arrived. And as we step forward each day, may we carry with us grace in our actions, humility in our success, and courage in our becoming. We ask this prayer with love and gratitude in our hearts. Amen.
All are requested to be seated.
We would now like to call upon Ms. Sarah Jacob, the Vice President, Student and Staff Welfare, to address the gathering and to share a note of appreciation in recognition of the service and felicitation of staff members completing 10, 25, and 30 years of dedicated service at Good Shepherd International School.
Good morning, everybody. Are we all excited to be back and to start a new academic term at GSIS? Yes? Okay, well, it's wonderful to see all of you. I see no grade 12 saying yes. Why? This is your final term at GSIS, and we have missed you guys tremendously. All of you. We missed your smiling faces. We missed all the naughtiness. We missed all the chaos in school, and it's so wonderful to have you all here. So before I get started, we have a few new students who have joined us this term. Can I have our new students stand up? Welcome. Welcome to GSIS. We are so happy to have all of you here. I hope all the returning students who met you yesterday and throughout the evening and throughout the day have welcomed you and made you feel really, really special. So GSIS, all the students, staff, everybody, let's shout out a huge welcome to GSIS. Oh, I want that to be a lot louder. Huge, loud voices. Welcome to GSIS. How hard is that? Somebody lead us. Yes, welcome to GSIS. I hope you have a wonderful term ahead with us and that you have a long and fruitful journey during your time with us at GSIS. Okay, be seated. All right, so let's get started. Today is a very special assembly, and I know that there are lots of exciting things to come at the end of this assembly, but hold your horses. We still have something very special to do before we get to that. This is a very meaningful part of our assembly today because we are celebrating some very special people at GSIS who have been a part of this family for many, many years. Now, they have not just given the GSIS family years of service, but decades of commitment, love, and loyalty. Now, we live in a world that celebrates speed. Everything is about instant messaging, instant gratification, instant success, constant change. We're always moving. But here at GSIS, what we value deeply and are grateful for is something much rarer and much more powerful, and that is steadfastness. Now, all of you kids sitting here, I want you to look at the people seated in the front row this morning. These teachers and adults seated here are the ones who chose steadfastness and commitment. They chose to stay the course. They stayed when it was hard. They stayed when it was inconvenient. They stayed through changes, through growth, through terribly uncertain times, and through transformation. And in doing so, they built something enduring. You see, true impact is not made by those who move fast, but by those who stay long enough to make a difference. And that is what we are celebrating today. Now, many of the people seated here in the front, you know really well, because they're your teachers and they interact with you every day. But there are also some that you may not know very well because they work behind the scenes. They're in the school every day of the week, just like all your teachers, just like all of you, year after year. But they do work that doesn't put them directly in the spotlight. And I want to say a few words about one such person who has spent 30 years of his life serving this institution. working right beside our founders from the very early days of GSIS, well, back then it was GSPS. Mr. Manoj Kumar, who has served, yes, I think he deserves a huge applause first. Now, Manoj sir has served as the head of finance at GSIS for 30 years. That number alone should make us sit up and pause because that is half his life. He worked quietly behind the scenes, heading our finance team with integrity, wisdom, and immense care. He stood by my father-in-law before this school was the massive institution it is today, during the tough times when each brick was being built and each admission was being sought, guiding us through every financial commitment that the school had with a calm, steady hand. Now, his loyalty was not loud and showy, but it was unwavering. Many of you may not know him. Yes, I understand that, but you certainly know his wife, Beena Miss, who has also taught generations of students here. Now, Beena Miss is not an awardee today because she's already completed her 25 years at this school a few years ago. But I wanted to bring it up because together they represent something very special about GSIS. Families who grow here, who serve here, and give their lives to this institution. And then we come to 3 teachers who have completed 25 years of service here. You guys know them very well because you interact with them, and I think no matter what grade you are in now, if you joined GSIS around the primary school or middle school years, you have been taught by them. Justin sir, Anuradha Miss, and Prabhu Kumar sir. To just say thank you to them feels wholly inadequate. For 25 years, they have shown up, not just to teach lessons, but to shape lives. They have taught thousands of students together, guided them through failures and successes, watched generations grow up, and stayed commitment to the slow, patient work of education. You see, teaching is not just a profession, it's a calling to do something much bigger than yourself. And to answer that calling for 25 years with consistency and care is something deeply noble. You guys may not always remember every lesson that they taught you, but when you grow up and leave this institution, you will remember how they made you feel. Even if they've had to scold you or correct you or tell you when you're doing something that is wrong, you will remember the standards that they held you to. You will remember the way they showed up for you day after day, whether you noticed it or not. Now, we're also celebrating many members of our team who have completed 10 years of service. Many of them are huge favorites of yours. Grace Miss, Ashish sir. I know you're going to have thunderous applause when it is Bhubalan sir's turn to come up. Yeah. Vishnu sir and our favorite Preetham sir. Yes, all my PYP children. And there are also many members of our admin team who work quietly in the background, but who make each part of your lives easier and run things so efficiently and so smoothly at this school. Where would we all be without Shashi sir? I know you all know him very well. Every assembly, every function, every event at this school is beautifully arranged by Shashi sir and his team. And I'm so grateful that every time one of you come up here and speak, you always acknowledge him and his team when you do your vote of thanks. And how many of you know Indu Miss? Indu Miss is the reason why all your teachers know which classroom to go to what your schedule looks like, and you all show up at the right place at the right time, all of this and more is taken care of by Indu Miss in her little office. In today's world, 10 years is a powerful statement of commitment. Some of you seated here, my PYP babies, you were not even born when some of these people came to join us at GSIS. There are also so many people in our team of support staff who are completing 10 years with GSIS. I am so incredibly grateful for their hard work, for their tireless service to us every day. But you know what I really love about GSIS as a school, and what never ceases to amaze me? In this institution, this kind of service, it is not the exception, it is the norm. While today in this room we are recognizing 19 recipients, there are so many people seated in this auditorium who have already completed their 10 years, 25 years, and are soon moving to their 30 years of loving service to all of us. Many of our teachers and other team members who come here, they come here as young adults. They build their careers here. They get married here. Their children grow up on this campus. Their families have made Ooty their home. They give their lives not just to a job, but to building a community. And there is no greater or meaningful work than this. Because education is not about academics or marks and results. It is about raising human beings. It is about shaping character and preparing all of you for the journey that is beyond the walls of this school. I do hope you will all learn from this. Learn that success is not always about moving quickly. Often, it's about staying, about committing, about doing the right thing quietly, consistently, and with integrity, even when there is no big applause. So to all of you who are being honored here today, from the bottom of my heart, from Jacob and me, from our family, and all the adults and children seated here, thank you. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for staying the course. Thank you for believing in GSIS, in its children, and in its mission. You have shaped this school more than you will ever know, and for that we are profoundly grateful. Thank you. So now I'm going to ask Bon Bon to come up here and say a few words and invite each of you up to the stage so that the entire school can thank you properly and with resounding applause. And Jacob, if you could also come up here so we can say thank you together.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning to everyone, and thank you, Sarah ma'am. You have so much set the tone for this great day. There's a beautiful analogy which is often used to describe great institution. Just building up on what Sarah ma'am has said, a forest is not defined by the height of its trees, but by the depth and strength of the roots that hold them. Likewise, our school is not just defined by its achievements or buildings, but by the people who have quietly sustained it year after year. So as we begin the second term of the academic year 25-26, we start on a meaningful note by recognizing those long service members. I will begin with the 25-year milestone, and as I introduce these individuals, allow me to share a few personal reflections, because I actually feel truly privileged to call these individuals on stage as they are recognized for their years of service. For I have had the joy of working alongside many of them, learning from them, and continuing to learn as I walk my own journey here at school. I have had the pleasure of knowing her and working alongside her for over 12 years now, starting from my early days at the Fernhill campus. I've always admired how she brings energy and clarity to her subject, one rooted in logic and numbers. I often wish I had a math teacher like her growing up, someone who could turn fear into fascination. Anuradha Miss, teacher in mathematics, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude and token of appreciation. I deeply admire your knack for storytelling as a way to instill a love for physics and logic in our children. Thank you for being with us and mentoring our students for a quarter of a century. And for many of the students seated here who may not be knowing, he has been a Sea Cadet instructor for a very long time. Here, Justin Sir, teacher in physics, please join us on stage. I want to share a personal note of appreciation for your constant willingness to support and lend an extra hand so many times when I needed your insight, especially when arranging outdoor learning experience and local trips for our PYP students. Your approach to guiding and supporting everyone anywhere is something I have a lot of gratitude for. He has been a senior IAYP award leader and a Sea Cadet instructor for a very long time in school. Prabhu Kumar Sir, teacher in biology and EVS. Please join us on stage. We'll now move into recognizing all the individuals who have done a 10-year milestone. It's a decade of dedication, and it actually equals to over 3,650 days, excluding the leap years. Thank you for inspiring our senior students to develop logical reasoning and ask the right questions to unlock complex concepts. Mr. Ashish Rajwari, sir, teacher in physics, please join us on stage to accept our token of gratitude. In the study of life and environment, it takes a steady hand to guide students through the intricacies of biology. Thank you for being a decade of nurturing scientific inquiry. Ms. Grace Ashish, teacher in biology, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude. We now move to our co-curricular team who have been nurturing our kids outside the classroom for a decade now. Your music connects hearts, and your performance during Founders' Day have left us in awe year after year. On a personal note, thank you for the support during our PYP exhibition. Mr. Vishnu Chandran R., teacher in Indian music, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude. Thank you for everything you have taught our students on the field over the past 10 years. Mr. Boobalan K., football coach, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude. A multi-talented individual whose creativity I personally count on for our PYP kids. Apart from being an excellent yoga teacher for the whole school, Mr. Preetham Das, teacher in yoga, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude. We now shift our attention to those team members who are at the heart of our operations, like Sarah ma'am said, the steady hands who kept us going consistently for the last 10 years. These individuals keep the rhythm of campus life steady, ensuring everything runs smooth, quiet, diligently, and with dedication. Always approachable, always reliable. From fixing timetable tech to helping with Zoho or Google features, you are our go-to expert. Indu Miss, Senior Business System Analyst, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude. Your support, whether for classroom logistics or last-minute help with an event or even at our homes, is just a phone call away. Our Sasi Sir, campus manager, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude and a token of appreciation. For 10 years of ensuring our grounds are supervised with care, thank you for everything. Mr. Sabrish R., Field Supervisor, please join us on stage to accept our gratitude. We now move to another equally powerful team. Without their diligent support behind the scenes, life for us would not have been so smooth. Each of these individuals have been with us for 10 years, and we are incredibly grateful to each one of you. Ms. Radha M., Medical Service Assistant. Thank you, Radha, for all the support you provide us. Ms. Jayalakshmi J., Housekeeping Assistant. Thank you for everything. Ms. Savita P., Housekeeping Assistant. Thank you for everything. Ms. Shiva Lakshmi, Housekeeping Assistant. Thank you for everything. Ms. Noor Jahan, Housekeeping Assistant. Thank you for everything. Ms. Regina M., Housekeeping Assistant. Thank you for everything. Mr. Chinna Durari from the ETP Maintenance. Thank you for everything. Like Sarah ma'am said when she addressed us, that a 30-year milestone is a great stay with all of us in the school. So these are people who have been with the GSIS story since its very early chapters. A big thank you, Manoj sir, for all the support you have given to the whole school for decades. Please come up on stage to accept our gratitude. Thank you, Sarah ma'am and Jacob sir, for leading this moment of recognition. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you once again to all the staff members for their years of service to the school. Now, we would like to invite the boys' school captain, Ridan Dattani, to share his reflections.
Oh, he's going to go first.
A very good morning to our President, Mr. Jacob Thomas, Senior Vice President, Ms. Sarah Jacob, Head of School, Mr. Vinod Singh, Headmistress, Mrs. Deepa Suresh, members of the Academic Council, dear teachers, and fellow students. Today's assembly is quite unique. We just witnessed the honoring of teachers and admin staff for their exemplary service and hard work for the GSIS family. At the same time, in this very assembly, we're going to find out which students from the family are about to lead the school's journey from strength to strength. I'm sure you have guessed it, I'm talking about the new Prefects Council. Since yesterday, a lot of the prefect nominees have been trying hard to trick the current captains into spilling the beans. But I don't think anyone got the right names. I know that your hearts are thumping as you eagerly await to take charge and do extraordinary things. And I don't intend to spoil your excitement, but let me warn you from my experience that the Prefects Council is not a bunch of students with golden badges and newfound authority. It is rather one of the most toughest jobs in the school as you carry the hopes and expectations of more than 650 students alongside fulfilling your duties and responsibilities. For the current council of 25-26, I can say this without any sense of arrogance that we have managed to raise the bar for the successive councils. And we are passing on this challenge to those who will be here on stage in the next 5 minutes. And I must say this, that it's not only us who have raised the bar, but also the Academic Council, who has embraced new ideologies and perspectives from the young student leaders, and their constant open-mindedness, along with their alertness, has given wings to the Council's dreams. Last year, we made a significant change to the daily schedule, a change which was highly awaited and later much appreciated by the community, as every member of the community got more autonomy over their time management. Not only this, we have established a new sports structure and workout structure, a food committee, a revised school constitution which is yet to be codified, and assisted in the completion of the new intranet. And I believe the prefects have done fairly well in sustaining and uplifting school spirit and school values. Now, the reason I produced this long list was because it is a message from this council to the upcoming prefects, that the playing field has been set for you, and there is a lot that can be done to continue, enhance, and embellish the work that we will leave behind. And we would also like the upcoming prefects to know that the current council is always delighted to guide you in your journey, and we will be proactively mentoring all of you. Now, I know that you don't want me standing here for too long, so without any further ado, I would now call upon our President, Mr. Jacob Thomas, to announce the Prefects Council for the year 2026-2027. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rodan. Thank you. So before I announce the Prefects Council for the next academic year, I do want to take a moment just to thank our outgoing Prefects Council, led by Kaina, Rodan, and Rinav, and every one of you who wears a badge that represents responsibility and trust of this prestigious body. Now, since we moved to this merit-based selection process a few years ago, each council has brought energy and perspective, but this year's, I believe, has truly raised the bar. I think what stood out most for me, and I think for Sarah, was your commitment to being steadfast role models, your belief in student agency, and the high standards you set, not just for others, but for yourselves. Now, as Rodan said, I think the most significant change that we've made in the school in the last few years is a change to our schedule. I'll be honest with you, I think we would not have been able to achieve the structure we finally did. It was a lot of give and take and a lot of back and forth. We had lots of meetings, lots of spreadsheets, but I really appreciated the enthusiasm, the professional approach, the collaboration, and more than anything else, I think the well-articulated reasoning for everything that was proposed by the Prefects Council. So thank you so much for bringing that energy to this process, and thank you actually for strengthening our foundation in the school community. Thank you, guys. Now, as we prepare to announce the next Prefects Council for the next academic year, I'm counting on this outgoing Prefects Council to ensure a smooth and thoughtful transition. I'm excited to see how this platform continues to become a beacon for student leadership and a progressive culture here at GSIS. Lastly, my thanks to everyone who participated in this rigorous process. Collectively, we've invested over 400 hours, time well spent in the service of leadership, integrity, and the future of our school community. Thank you all so much. All right, so without further ado, let me jump into this. So, Sarah and I don't get to speak to every candidate like we used to when we first started this process. I think it's a lot more structured, and I like the way it progresses. But we did have the opportunity to speak to all the candidates that were, who were looking to be selected as school captains and sports captains. And in that process, we got to talk to many of you. And it's been really such an amazing experience, as it always has been, to get to know our students and to get to know you a little better than what we get to see with when you're just going about your regular routine. So that's been really interesting. And yes, I did wear my yapper hat, Ashika, and I talked a lot, asked lots of questions. But yes, it was very, very enriching. So let me start with our first candidate, which is a school captain boys. Now, this particular student, I love this story. He's actually been here for 10 years of his life. And what was interesting about his story is how he arrived at GSIS. So, as he told it, at his previous school, of course, he was extremely young at that point, he was bored, and he literally went to his parents and said, listen, if you want me to go to school, you got to take me to a better school. And so that's how we ended up here. Now, something that I share with this student, which really, I think, deeply connected me with what he was going through, was when he arrived at the school, he actually didn't know how to speak English. And that was also me. When I was a young student, I didn't know a word of English, and I remember feeling completely out of place. But since that time, he's grown to be very confident, very thoughtful, already stepped into many student leadership roles, and of course, learning English and finding his voice. And I think more than anything else, I think he made such a compelling case when I read his application, which ran, I think, more than 7 or 8 pages. A lot of thought, a lot of passion that he brought into this role. And so it was a pleasure getting to know him. So it is my pleasure to announce the next school captain for the next academic year for boys, Viantiago. So can I request Vian to join me? Of course, Kaina, Rena, can I have you also join me on the dais? Can I also have the 4 house captains for boys and girls to please join us? So our next candidate is the school captain for girls, also somebody who's been at GSIS for a very long time. If I recall correctly, she joined us in grade 5. And for her, the school has become more than just a place to study. In her own words, this has become a true home and a community that she feels she belongs to, shaped by friendships and year groups and teachers who watched her grow into a more mature and self-aware young woman. She speaks with rare honesty about a turning point in her grade 7 when friendship challenges, and I think every one of us goes through that, taught her the emotional intelligence and the power of simply taking the first step to talk. And today she hopes to lead with that same maturity by strengthening the school spirit and strength and building trust through transparency. It's my pleasure to announce our next school captain, girls, Mira. All right, on to games captains. I'll be honest, I don't think I knew this next candidate very well, but got a chance to speak, have a very lengthy conversation with him. He's been with us since grade 8, and I think you already know him to be an excellent athlete, and from what I understand, really someone who's excelled in multiple sports, but I think football is his favorite. Shaping not just his skill, but his character, his confidence, and the ability to bounce back when things don't go his way. That's what sports has been to him. He carries a powerful lesson from his father that hard work beats talent unless talent works harder. And he wants to bring that same mindset to GSIS by building a stronger culture of discipline. And I love this, his passion for the morning fitness and his pride in representing the school while guiding juniors to stay confident under pressure. Join me in welcoming our next school captain, boys, Yuvraj. Another candidate I really enjoyed speaking to, and I love the fact that each one of these students has a deeply personal story about their journey of not just self-realization, but growth. And I love the way that they tackle the challenges that they face in their lives. And our next candidate is no different. Now, what makes her story especially, or rather really special, is how she turned an early setback in sports, feeling discouraged, feeling out of place, into a new beginning by discovering a new sport, something she stepped into and I'm proud to say has really excelled at. And now she feels confident and comfortable in who she is and where and the sense of belonging she has at GSIS. With remarkable grit and dedication, she has trained through numerous challenges, even returning to the rifle range the day after an operation and pushing herself back to reach the nationals. She now wants to lead as sports captain by building a more inclusive and motivating sports culture where every girl feels they belong and where leadership is shown by leading from the front. It is my pleasure to welcome Arya to the stage as our next games captain. All right, moving on to our houses. Any guesses for summer house captain, boys? No confident names? I think I heard that name. Please join me in welcoming Amar to the stage. And for Summer House Captain Girls, it's my pleasure to welcome onto the stage Leher. So I'm going to put up the names of all the prefects on the screen. When you see a name, please come up to the stage. Next, we have Winter House, another candidate I had the opportunity to speak to, and actually someone I've spoken to numerous times for something or the other. I ended up talking to this kid. And a moment he shared with me, which I thought was, again, very relatable, was on his first day of orientation. This is when students arrive for their first day of orientation with their parents. He was called to dance on the stage. And knowing him, yeah, he did it really well. And I think that helped him sort of break the ice. Moving to a new school is not easy, but I think it helped break out of his comfort zone, feel comfortable, and build his confidence. Now, over that time, like I said, I've gotten to know him pretty well. And I've always seen him as somebody who leads with purpose, someone who believes in leadership. And I've never seen him shy away from stepping up to a position of responsibility. Join me in congratulating and welcoming onto the stage Damien. Next up, we have the Winters Captain for Girls. Please join me in welcoming Yarini. I'm going to put up the names of all the Winter House prefects. When you see a name, please come up on the stage. Next up, we have Autumn House. All right, so our next candidate is known for his quiet leadership style, but yet powerful. Inspired deeply by his seniors, he named so many of them who have inspired him, who have been his role models, people he's looked up to and learned from. He's someone who is not known to chase attention, but chooses to be the backbone of his team. And I've seen him in action many times, and that's very, very descriptive of who he is. He's someone who keeps people connected, communicating and moving forward together, and I like that about him as a leader. Now, what makes him stand out is his belief that leadership begins with the simplest habits of showing up early, putting in your best even when you're not the best player, and inspiring others through consistency so that his juniors can learn the real value of punctuality, discipline, and respect. Please join me in welcome onto the stage, Arif Salunke. It is also my pleasure to welcome on stage the house captain for Autumn House, Nitya Kabra. So Autumn House prefects, when you see your names on the screen, please join us on stage. All right, so next up we have Spring House. Let me start with the Spring House captain. Please join me in welcoming Shivam. Now for Spring House captain for girls, please join me in welcoming Vedika. So I'm going to put the names of the Spring House prefects. When you see your names, please join us on stage. So guys, a big round of applause to our next year's Prefects Council. Can I request Vinod sir, Deepa miss, and our coordinators to please join us on stage to congratulate our Prefects Council. He's ready. Thank you, Dominic. Students, please take your seats. Take your seats. I'd like to welcome Mr. Vinod to the podium to say a few words.
Okay. We can shake hands after this. Udishi.
Good morning, GSIS. I can already feel the energy, the new Prefect Council coming in, and I'll be very happy to work with the new army, as said. From my side, welcome back. I wish you a very happy New Year 2026. May this year be the best year ever. I know that for sports enthusiasts, this year is going to be a very good year. I mean, next month you have, what is there next month? 2020? And we have FIFA World Cup also happening this year, yeah? Where it is, what is the venue? Which country it's happening? America. And we got Asian Games happening in 2026 in September. So I think this year is going to be a good year for the sports enthusiasts, right? As always, I think the new year is a time to come up with new goals, new resolutions. I have made mine. I'm not going to tell you what are those, but make sure you all have your goals, your resolutions, things that you've been waiting to address. Make sure in 2026 you reach your goals. Last year when I came in new, I spoke to you here, and kids used to ask me, how do you like the school? I hope you're comfortable in the school. And I kept on analyzing. In fact, last year was it was my time to take a step back and analyze how things work, how people react, how are the systems and processes. And last 6 months have been very fulfilling for me, and now this is my second term, and I would say that I know the school well. All right? So I stand here with more knowledge about your school. From my side, I know after Ms. Sarah and Jacob speak so much about the teachers who spent so many years and welcoming the new student council, I can see a lot of energy already. My address will be more conventional. Probably I would like to tell you that what are the things that I expect you to do. And when I speak to all of you, students as well as teachers. Few instructions from my side. What I request all of you, students and teachers, is whatever information is flowing in the school, let all the information flow through the HOS office, all right? So moving forward, HOS office will have to be the information center, the custodian of all the information, all the approvals, all the information, all the consents, all the surveys, events, everything has to be going through HOS office. Is it clear? Because every now and then we get proposals for the events. Let every information go through HOS. It's for the teachers as well as for the students. I also have something to say about the chain of commands. Every now and then we receive proposals from different departments, from different students. My advice to you is, I think you need to follow a chain of commands. If you have some proposal, please approach the right person. Please address to your immediate reporting head or teacher, and then just make a proposal to the HOS office. Because idea is, I think if there are more minds and more eyes are working on some proposal, it will be better. And if we sit on the table, I think we'll have more information to talk about, all right? About children, I think you remember that whenever I got chance to speak to you, I have been speaking about how hard work and discipline works well for us. That I always repeat, all right? Hard work, discipline, and the consistency are the key to success. Respect is paramount. We are working on something known as good conduct policy, because at the end of the day, the discipline should be the way of life. I have spoken a lot about discipline. Discipline is something that keeps everyone at peace. It should be the way of life. What we are doing is we are working on a good conduct policy. We have a team who's working on it. In fact, I was having a conversation with the team one day. I said, listen, let discipline be the way of life. I think life becomes more organized if everyone follows rule, all right? I always refer to the sports. See, in the sports, there are yellow cards, there are red cards, all right? If you play a game of football, if you tackle somebody in not a nice manner, you get a yellow card, all right? And if you tackle somebody which is really bad, you get a red card. You get a red card, all right? Life has to be like this, right? Because one day when I spoke to you, I did say to you that I cannot stand people who trouble others. Physical aggression is something that I cannot stand with, all right? I would continue to say this. So in your hostels, make sure that you're not making people uncomfortable by physical aggression, all right? That's totally no for us. And as I said to you last time as well, if we have people who are showing physical aggression against people, I think we will be speaking to you. I will be speaking to you one-to-one on the table, right? Because at the end of the day, we are duty-bound to your safety, all right? Whether it's physical safety or online safety, because your parents trust us for your well-being, and we are fully committed. Let me tell you, in fact, we play your parents, right? We don't play your friends. We are friendly, but we play your parents, and that's what your parents expect us to do, all right? We will work with you, but at the same time, we will play your parents. If we see something which is out of place, we will be the first one to tell you, listen, guys, I think you have to be following online, all right? As I said, your offline and online safety is our concern. There was a time when people or parents used to think that when you're sitting at home, you're safe. Now, when you're sitting at home and you're exposed to internet, I think there are so many. You're exposed to the world. So for this, I would like to work with your counseling department, how to make you people safe, even if you're sitting alone, all right? Okay, so this is for the students. I know the time is running out. For teachers, what I genuinely feel is teaching is our opportunity to build the future of the world. When you become a teacher, you automatically become a leader. Even if it is your first job, right? The moment you stand in front of the class, you are a leader. Lead with courage. Make sure you have a line in your class, all right? What I always say is, children like you, and that's the reason they like your subject. Vice versa is never true. It's not that they like biology and that's the reason they like biology teacher. No, they like the biology teacher and that's the reason they like the subject. All right? And the teachers who genuinely love the children, students know it, and they can go any extent to support you, right? If you love the children, children love you back, and they will protect you like anything, all right? I also say to teacher that your subjects are very important, but good conduct is more important than the subject. I won't mind if I see teachers teaching them good conduct, not teaching them subject, teaching them good conduct for a class or two. Teaching them good behavior is very, very important. If you are a best teacher in the world and your class is disruptive, you will not be very effective. The teachers need to teach the students good conduct day in and day out. As I said, I won't mind if you do not teach a subject for a day and teach them good behavior. That's so important. All right? This term, I would like to work with the houses. I remember when I spoke to you in the last assembly, I said, I do not want the houses to be groups who are just waiting to compete with each other. I want houses to be working like collaborative communities with common causes. I would like to work with the houses to create a vision because, see, we call ourselves a school of different thoughts. And I think houses are something that I think can create a great difference in the world. As I introduced to you some time ago, that we need to have certain visions where we can make a difference in the world. If you have a vision in the houses, I think we can all collaborate and make this world a better place to live in. So this term, I would like to work very closely with the houses and would help you out to frame your visions, which I'm sure will create the school with different thoughts and create this world a better place to live. Secondly, I want to work very closely with the student council because, as I say to you, the current student council have set a great benchmark. They've done a great job. Now it is the work of the next upcoming student council to raise the bar. I want the student council to be more visible in operations. That's the reason I would like to work very closely with you and make your leadership more visible. So from my side, it's all the best to you and all the best to all of us. And let's have this term an amazing year, amazing term. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As we come to the end of this assembly and the beginning of a new term, let us end with the national anthem. All are requested to rise.